Greetings, Earthlings. Today, we are reviewing the ATMOS Shinobi II, one of my favorite pieces of gear of 2024. I have loved this monitor. I bought this monitor roughly 2 months ago with my Blackmagic 6K Pro kit. I've used this exclusively on tons of sets and shoots. I've brought it on sets where this isn't even my main camera. I've used this on cameras such as the Canon R5, the Sony FX3, the Fuji X-H2S that you're seeing right now. And it is an exceptional little monitor. This monitor is the best little cheap monitor they make. This monitor comes at $350. It has 1500 nits. It is super thin. It is literally as thin as my iPhone almost. I'm not even joking, look at that. That's pretty much the same thing. It has a basic SD card slot, a power button, and a HDMI and USB-C port on the back. Powered by Sony NPF batteries, headphone jack, who uses that, and a remote port. So this little monitor, it seems pretty stereotypical. I have it on a little cold shoe adapter to slide on top of cameras, but I also obviously put it on my Blackmagic, and it has really helped my work. Now, I think a lot of people may wonder, what is the point of this? Now, on a small mirrorless camera, this adds immense quality because you're used to a little 3-inch screen, and having 5 inches allows you to frame better, see things better. But on a camera such as this, it's my main monitor that I use, and I put all my status on here, and I love this monitor. Let's talk about some of the features. So it has false color, it has focus peaking, it has frame guides, it has touch to focus, and it also has camera control with supported cameras. You also have EL Zone, which is new, so you can expose. At Blackman, basically, it's a new false color that's tied to your camera's color space. So when you set the monitor to your color space, it interprets that data. It's not just middle gray is middle gray, it's middle gray of that specific camera, so you can get more specific, and it ends up becoming a light meter, so you can actually learn to expose one stop over, one stop less by just using EL Zone. So really cool stuff with here. I have used camera control on the FX3 before. My criticism of it was it kind of is a little laggy, and I'd rather just use the controls of the camera, honestly, which was a little disappointing. My only feature that I actually wrote to Atmos to add is the ability to do an onion skinning. So basically, onion skinning means I were to grab a still on the monitor. You could grab these two stills that are completely different and then onion skin and overlay the opacity, so when you're framing the next shot, you can see the forward shot, and that gives you the ability to do unique shot transitions and stuff that's just powerful. The Ninja 5 does it, but this doesn't. Other than that, I seriously think every filmmaker should own one of these. So awesome. It's so small, lightweight. The monitor adds so much. It makes me frame better, see my shots better, and a mirrorless camera, it's a no-brainer. On something like this, people are like, well, why didn't you get the 7-inch? Because you already have a 5-inch monitor down below. But I like it for the size and the weight, and I also didn't feel like spending more than that. This is what the monitor looks like. This is plugged into my Blackmagic 6K. You just tap in for the settings. And right here, you get your waveform. Right here, you can get your digitally punching in to grab focus. You can go a second time. This is super snappy. This is way better than those cheap monitors that you see online. You have your false color, and then you have your RE false color, as well as your EL Zone. EL Zone, unfortunately, doesn't actually technically work on the Blackmagic because they don't have the Blackmagic color space on here. So if Atmos, if you're listening, that would be awesome. Then over here, you have your waveforms, which are really cool to have because you can, expose with a vector scope. Oh, your zebras, obviously you have your focus peaking, and then your center dot. Sometimes I've had to do social media shoots. Sometimes I'll actually have the top monitor be the cropped social media 9:16, and then I'll have the bottom be the big screen. And so I can look at the big screen at the bottom while I'm framing. If a director or someone else wants to see this is kind of nice to see what it actually looks like cropped, which is nice because you don't have to do it in the camera. It's nice to just have that always an option. So any camera I'm on set, I need to see this, I can throw this on and know instantly. And you have all these different settings, 4x5, 4x3, 2x4, anamorphic, all the different stuff. And then you have the grids, of course, and then you have all your anamorphic descrease options ranging from 1.25 up to 2. So when you first get the monitor, you'll be like, man, this is really dark or really bright or whatever. How do I change the brightness? So you'll go in here and you'll go to display and you'll go to backlight, and this is how you'll control your backlight. So you'll turn up your backlight to brighten it, turn down. You can adjust your lift, gamma, and gain on the monitor, but I never really do that. So I just adjust the backlight. And then you can select one of your LUTs that you have here, and see what that affects on your image, which is kind of cool. So for example, F-Log2C just came out on the Fuji X-H2S. They don't have that built into the monitor yet, but I just loaded in the LUT from Fujifilm, put it on my monitor, and now when I use this monitor with that camera, it just shows up as number 3. You have up to 8 LUTs that you just load through the SD card port, and it's really straightforward and awesome. I love doing it. So I think a good option is if you're doing a stylistic music video or something where you want to make a new grade, you can go out, do a test shoot, make a LUT, load it on your monitor. No, it's not being baked in. Everyone on set is lighting. You're seeing what the vibe of the shot will actually be in post. Then in post, you can apply that LUT onto your clips and then adjust your look as you're going along and really tweak it and fine tune it. But the ability to have a tool like this on set, if you've never used one before, is so crucial in being able to make sure your aspect ratio is framed right, your colors are looking right, and everything else really looks good. We're gonna go to display, waveform, you can adjust your waveform settings, your focus peaking settings, your colors, how thick you want it to appear, the outline, and then your zebras and what the threshold is. Top, you're gonna see your actual audio levels. So if you really wanted to monitor with headphones, which I would never on a monitor, at least when I was really starting out, I was using cameras that didn't have a headphone port, and that really pissed me off. And so having a monitor like this, if you really had to, plug into a Canon Rebel, I guess, would do that. That's the only camera I remember that didn't have a headphone port. Up here, we're gonna go to battery. So this is your percentage and your voltage, and you can actually also power it over USB. I've never done the build personally, but I believe you can have V-mounts and USB-C them to the V-mount, which is a cool idea. So this is what's really interesting about this monitor that I didn't realize is the USB-C port can actually, you can plug into a dongle with a proper color calibrator that Atmos approves, and you can calibrate the monitor on device with it on. So I think that's a really cool and fascinating idea that you can do your own color calibration straight on the machine, straight with their own port. I've heard online that this monitor isn't the best with color accuracy, so I don't know if I would, have my life depend on it. You can control your camera output. So this is for EL zone and other stuff. So you would select your camera, select your gamma, and then select your gamut. So you would, do Fujifilm F-Log2, 709, and then when you do EL zone, it exposes it properly. And then one good rule of thumb is if you press this once, it locks the monitor, and second time it unlocks. Let's go over my few but limited gripes with this camera. My number one gripe is the touch to focus and the camera control was so overhyped. If you're getting it for camera control, I would look elsewhere. I think it's a cool little gimmick that you can try out. When are you not gonna be able to just use your camera buttons anyway? So I don't think it's that needed. But then my second one is color accuracy. I don't really like that it's not matching anything, and I had to tweak it to kind of match my MacBook screen. I'm going to try to get that calibrator and calibrate it and see if that makes a difference. My other just technical gripe is the bezels. I read this online and now I can't unsee it. What are we in, 2012? Why are these bezels so big on the outside? Every monitor is pushing for thinner bezels. Not that we need razor thin, but come on, you can shave maybe like a half, not like that much, so it's like more edge to edge. It's stylistic, but it also gets you more screen real estate. My final gripe, okay, this is the killer. This is just my gripe with a bunch of companies. It's not just Atmos. It's, okay, why in the world do we need the power button to be a button? Just make it a switch. Switches are so much easier. Switches, you can see when it's turned on. Sometimes I press this and I'm like, oh no, did it just die? Is the battery dead? I can't tell. What's going on? I wait 5 seconds and it turns on. Sometimes I press it once and it turns on automatically, perfectly. Other times I'm doing it, everyone's standing around on set. I can't get this damn monitor to turn on because this stupid button. Why can't we make this a switch? I don't see in an engineering perspective why we can't just have a switch that goes up and down. And with that, someone goes, hey, is the monitor turned on? Oh, I feel it, it's turned on. That's kind of just my only rant about this monitor. I just wish that we could move past the idea, everything needs to be all rounded and all perfect. A recessed switch in here costs them what? Nothing. Now let's talk about the things that I love. I love the weight of this. This is so lightweight and small and perfect. And for any mirrorless camera, it is a no-brainer. I love that it's NPF powered because NPFs are actually really easy to come by. A 2-pack of these, $35. And I've had this 2-pack for what, 5 years? So that's a very good return on investment. And also I use it on other lights and other equipment. So I don't think the NPFs are that crazy of a way to power it. HDMI is stereotypical. I would not expect at a $300 monitor to have SDI, but I guess some field worlds do. So if you need SDI, you're gonna have to look elsewhere in this price point. But mounting, it has RE locating pins, which I love. Other than that though, I really would highly recommend this monitor to everyone. I'm gonna leave a link down below if you're interested, but this monitor has proven to me time and time again to be immensely valuable on set because of its size, its weight, its ability to make images, its ability to help me frame and be a better cinematographer. So if you enjoy this review, please stay tuned for more. I'm planning on pumping out at least a video a week in 2025. I hope you're interested in that, and I will see you next week.